Hey y'all, you already know what time it is. This is your girl Shelly with Go and Grow Podcast, and this is
Cutting Kev, you already know.
You already know. And today we have an amazing special guest. I'm so happy to have him on this show today. You want to introduce yourself?
What's going on? It's your boy Pleasure. You can follow me on all platforms at Only One Pleasure.
Yeah. Okay. So, Kev, you want to jump us off today?
Yeah, so we really talking all things content, and I'm really excited about it. So for me, getting to know you, just tell us a little bit about what it is that you do and like why content creation is important to you.
Okay, so again, like I said, I'm Pleasure, and I've been, as far as you say, say it one more time. I'm
So
sorry.
as far as like what is it that you do, just tell us like what have you been doing, what you've been working on, and then like why is content creation, like why is that important to you?
Okay, so I do content, and content creation is important to me. To be honest with y'all, I didn't even know that the content thing was even gonna happen for me, to be honest with y'all, because I really grew up singing or whatever. And a lot of people don't even know that either. I grew up singing. My dad sings and my sister sings.
I sing
But
a little bit too,
so the thing with it is, like I said, for even this content thing to get to where it is, I didn't expect it. So it's like me just seeing my friends do it, just being on the internet and social media and seeing people do it. I'm like, I'll try it. I'm funny around the bros anyway. So
Right.
let me give it a shot. And I end up trying it, and it end up, working out for me. But to be honest with you, like singing was my first passion, and it's still my passion. Okay. And I feel like, eventually down the line, I'm gonna start inquiring into videos once I get a little bit more comfortable. Because it's not like I can't sing. It's just I know what come with it, and like I'm still trying to get used to all the, the attention that I get now. Like I didn't expect it. So
That makes sense. How long you been singing?
I've been singing my whole life. Like, be like what it is too with the whole singing thing too. Like, depending on who I'm around. If I'm around like family a little bit, I might sing a little bit. But if I don't necessarily know you, like a lot of times too, it's different because even with around family too, sometimes like if you tell me to sing, I can't do it. Like I gotta be comfortable with singing. Not saying I can't sing, it's just how I am. But yeah, I've been singing around the family and around the friends my whole life. So
Okay. So when you think about it, let me ask about this, because like the correlation that you have between like singing and then content creation. Like how long you been on this content creation journey?
okay, so I've been on a content creation journey, I say for about 7-8 years. I've been doing it, but as far as being consistent, I would say I've been consistent for 6 years.
Okay.
And how I really got into the content creation part of it, and it's so crazy. Okay, so it's this dude on social media. Shout out to my boy, That Boy Funny. I was just with him. We was lit too. But my homie, That Boy Funny, he was one of the people that motivated me to like really like want to take it serious. I'm like, this man funny. Like I just always see his videos pop up. So like I said, me and my little cousin, we had one of his friends record us. And my first video that I did that like really started jumping, we pretty much like it was a rhetorical question video. Like you can be washing dishes. You washing dishes or you finna roll up. He see you finna roll up. He asks you, are you finna roll up? Knowing that you, or you finna get in the shower, knowing that he see you finna get in the shower.
Yeah.
Right.
It was something like that. And back in the days, whenever I used to joke around and do it with my homie, we used to be happy when we touched 100 views. Man, when I seen that video do like 8,000, like overnight, I'm like, oh snap, 8,000 views. I call my homie like, but we lit. Stuff like that. So I started seeing that. Like anytime I started doing content after that, like 1,000 views would make me so happy. Like 1,000, like damn, like 1,000. Like I would literally watch a video and wait for it to get over 1,000. I felt like that was something. Especially for me to first, do this and just messing around with it. Like I didn't expect it. I just was doing it. And over time, like the more and more I started doing it, the more and more I started like to do it. And then I just stayed consistent with it.
So, I have a question. So of course it's Go and Grow Podcast, so we're all about growth. So where did you give us a little background on where'd you come from, and what obstacles you had to overcome to get to where you are today, and how do you plan on leaping to the next level?
Okay. Well, I was born and raised in Marietta, Georgia. And my I would say my upbringing, it wasn't really bad. I had my mom and my dad in my life. But my dad and them, they told me, I don't know if this story is true, but they told me whenever I was, I say 3-4 months, when my grandma and my grandpa first met me, instantly when they met me, I didn't want to go. So, they said I started crying every time like my dad and them tried to take me from them, I started crying. So eventually I ended up staying with my grandpa and my grandma. I got 2 older sisters and an older brother, but I got my older brother on my dad's side, and he grew up in Michigan.
Okay.
So we didn't really see him growing up. But as far as my 2 sisters, my dad raised them. They stayed with my dad, and I ended up going with my grandparents. So I was the only one with my grandparents. So like growing up, like it was okay. Like growing up, like I was closer to my grandma as far as when it came to growing up, because my grandpa, you know, he was out doing him and this, that, and the other. So my grandma, my grandma was the one that really raised me growing up and, you know, really taught me things. But as time got you know, older, she was a diabetic and she ended up getting sick and she ended up, you know, passing away.
Right.
So, you know, after she passed away, it was like I instantly just ended up getting close to my grandpa. Like, I was always with him after that. Like, I just couldn't be alone because, like, my grandma, like, I was my grandma.
Right.
So I just couldn't be alone. So, like, over time, I ended up building a relationship with my grandpa, and it was, like, the best relationship ever. Like, and then, like, where I grew up at, like, everybody loved my grandpa. Like, everybody, like, all the homies, everybody, like, used to come to my grandpa's house because he showed everybody love, open arms to anybody that walked through that door.
Right.
So, you know, like, it was amazing. But, like, my upbringing wasn't bad. Like, whenever I wanted to go to my dad's house or whenever I wanted to see my mom, you know, I went to go see him. It wasn't really, you know, everybody got their struggles and stuff like that. But I never really, like, I guess with how I grew up and me growing up around my grandpa, you know, around that time of, you know, like, really, like, understanding things, I guess with him, you know, giving me the knowledge and, you know, explaining stuff to me, it kind of matured me to, I was more mature than I was at my age, you know, just being around him all the time. That's all I was around. So, you know, just being around him. So it's like, you know, we didn't have it good, but, you know, with him explaining and just me growing and understanding things, like, even though we didn't have good, I really didn't let it affect me or just let people know that I was going through what I was going through. Yeah. And that's just how I've been my whole life. Like, you wouldn't know I was going through nothing because just how I carry myself. I try to let, you know, the stuff that I got going on affect other people.
So do you think, like, even, like, us as men, like, a lot of men hold things in and, like, it builds up and it sits on our shoulders and it weighs. And sometimes, like, that can allow us to explode or, you know, certain things that just happen as a result of, like, build up. Like, what would you say was, like, has been an outlet for you, like, over the course of your growing up?
Like, something that you felt like got me to that breaking point?
No, just, like,
Took you away from it.
Like, allowed you to prevent you from, like, wilding out and just going crazy.
Really, well, really being by myself, to be honest with you. Like, anytime I get to that point to where, you know, I be like by myself. Like, that's another thing too. Like, even with doing the social media thing, I'm trying to get more comfortable with actually being around other people and this, that, and the other. But whenever I'm going through stuff or this, that, and the other, I just be to myself. Anytime I have problems, I talk to myself, talk to God, and that's, I don't know. If that's the question that y'all asking. Yeah, I pretty much go to God. Like, I really do not like going, you know, expressing my problems to other people. I really like handling them on my own.
That's
and
it.
It works out for me that way.
I think that is amazing.
There's nothing wrong with people who go to, you know, other people for, you know, advice and stuff like that. But this is the thing with me. Like I said, my grandpa, and there's nothing against my dad, but, like, my grandpa, even when it came to my dad, I had a hard time with opening up to him. Because my dad, not saying it was just a lot of tough love with my dad versus my grandpa understanding me and him being a little bit more, you know, not so him. It was better with him expressing things to me versus my dad, because to this day my dad just an aggressive person.
Yeah.
So yeah, with that situation, like, yeah, my grandpa.
He was your outlet.
Yeah, he was my outlet. Yeah. So, like, with my grandpa not being here no more, it's like that was the only person that I really opened up to. So with him not being here no more, a lot of that I just really keep to myself.
That's solid. That's solid. I'm about to say, I think not until I got older is when I figured out, like, isolation and, like, solitude was, like, good for growth. Like, I was used to always spending my time with my friends and my boys and everything like that. Right. But it's just like you really start adapting characteristics of the people that you hang around the most.
Facts.
But, like, nobody told me, like, getting in oneness or, like, having some me time and, like, figuring out what you want to do. Like, you either, even from a parent standpoint, it's like you're being told what to do.
Right.
If you're playing sports, you're told how high to jump, where you need to go,
right.
what time you need to be there. And it's just like, man, having a relationship with God, like, you're told to go to church.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like really having a real relationship with God. I think that's super dope. And then you just being in oneness to be able to even hear from God. Because it's like oftentimes we'll pray to God or we'll talk to God, but, like, how often do we, like, sit in stillness or wait to hear from God? Like, I think that's different. That's different.
Now, I do believe that. So I believe that isolation is amazing, but I do feel like God sends people.
Of course.
Sometimes your battle is too big for you.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why God sends helpers. He sends people to help you along the way. So I do feel like sometimes God shows you who you can't open up to and who you can't, and you just have to have clear discernment of that, and don't just go off of emotions and telling everybody, you know, your business or nothing
Right.
But I think solitude and isolation is literally the best thing
Yeah,
that you can
that
really do to come to get wherever you need to go mentally, spiritually, or emotionally.
Let me read this quote to y'all that my pastor had told me the other day. Imagine asking God for something that your discipline will release. Imagine asking God for something that your discipline will release. Like, we're, as a result of like where we are today, and it's for both of y'all, like, where do you feel like your discipline has gotten you, and are you proud of where you are today?
Yeah, most definitely. Because like you were speaking on, like, you know, growing up around, you know, being around your homies all the time, and just everybody having different personalities and, you know, moving different. Don't get me wrong, like, I was around a bunch of people that was doing stupid things, you feel me, like that. And I'm just glad that I wasn't that person that continued. Like I said, being around my grandpa as I grew up, like, I started to realize, like, okay, if I keep doing this, it's gonna eventually get me in jail or get killed. You know, like, I got to make a decision on what I want to do. Like I said, I still got people that's taking that route. But I'm just glad that, you know, over time I was able to, you know, distance myself and take the route that I'm taking. And like I said, like, I'm glad to where I'm at. Like, it's kind of hard. Like, how can I put it? Like, nobody, me doing this by myself. Like, and like I said, with me talking to myself, it's like nobody. If I fail, it's due to me. Like, it's like nobody motivated me to do this, nobody this, that, and the other. Like, I haven't ran into that person that really, like, I don't know, I guess I can really open up and express myself too when it comes to like my upbringing and stuff like that. I don't really do that. I like, just like I said, I keep everything to myself. So I don't know if I really ran into them people, but like I said, a lot of things, like when it comes to this, myself. And don't get me wrong, y'all, because like I said, so me talking, I feel like I'm talking too much.
No, you good.
Okay.
Yeah,
So a lot of questions that y'all asked, I'm on one topic, but
Yeah.
Okay, because I feel like I'm talking too much. I'm sorry, y'all.
I feel like for me, my discipline has got me into a better place with where I'm at one with God. And I feel like because I made it to where if you want whatever you want out of life, the person who is the source is always going to be God. So if you don't figure out how to create a relationship that's natural and authentic with God, then you're never going to be able to get to your fullest potential.
That's good.
So I started to make sure that I would start reading the Bible, and I would take notes when reading it, and I would fail sometimes, but I wouldn't stop, and I would make sure that no matter how much I failed, I constantly kept doing it. Then I would go to Bible studies by myself. I started doing that, and I would just go to church by myself or with people, but I never depended on if I'm going to go have that relationship with God. I never made it dependent on if people came with me. And I just dedicated myself to growing in Christ, and I feel like as I grew in Christ, my knowledge and the wisdom that I'm growing has increased, and I feel like it's helped me in every atmosphere. And just a little quick thing, when I had lost everything last year, I felt like if I never would have talked to myself as in, if you lose everything today, will you still trust God? Will you still believe God? Will you still follow God? And when I determined yes, I feel like that was a big factor in my life to know that I'm going in the right direction, and God is always going to be what I need no matter how difficult it gets. So I feel like that's my discipline, and staying on course with God.
That's solid. That's solid. That's solid.
Okay, so I want to ask you, how has discipline got you to where you are now, and are you happy with where you are?
One, I am happy with where I am. And discipline has gotten me far. I mean, even just going back to my hometown in Cleveland this past weekend, like I see where a lot of my friends are with, children and, families and different things like that, and doing the jobs that they love. And I think for me, it's different because I'm pursuing and I'm in a position where I'm still able to chase my dreams.
Right.
And like my baby is my business.
Yeah.
And it's a blessing to be able to go after that full-fledged, not necessarily with anything tying me down, but it's just like allowing to pursue it with nothing holding me back, or like I don't have anything in the back of my head. I'm single, I'm an only child. Like, I don't have too much to worry about.
Yeah, that's good, though.
So when I think about my solitude and my discipline and like the isolation that I have with God, like God has me on a chosen path. And I think it's super dope, and I'm grateful. I think I'm moving in a mood of gratitude because when I learn from the lessons of my peers and like what they're going through, I think it's really big for me to see like God has placed certain people in my life to say, hey, you can end up like this, you can end up like that, or this is what I have for you. And it's like, it's not that I do it perfect, but I'm just progressing.
Right.
So when I think about my discipline, it's just really being able to be a better decision maker. And decision means to decide to cut away from one thing. So even as a man, like I'm becoming a better decision maker because when I want to lead my household, leading my wife, leading my children, and different things like that, I'm just becoming a better decision maker. So even from the little things of food, you know, that's a thing for me. That's a thing. So I don't want it to be a thing for my wife. You know, what you want to eat. I hear that. So I'm just being a better decision maker from the little things where I call it the small victories that turn into like big wins overall. So my discipline is just being a better decision maker. So
I got a question for you.
you.
So with you, so you don't have no kids?
No kids.
Okay, so what are you giving your age before you have your first child? Or it don't matter?
It doesn't matter. So everybody keep asking me, do I want children? And I don't want children.
See, I'm the same way.
So I think the biggest thing with me is different is that I want a family. I don't just want kids. I could have been had kids.
Yeah, right.
So I want a union.
Yeah,
I want a purpose partner.
And that's exactly why I haven't really put myself, like, you know, of course you deal with people, but that's what I'm, you know, me too. Like, I'm trying to be careful on who I put myself in. Yeah, who you choose.
You got to understand
like,
that we're in a very privileged position to be able to choose.
Right.
We have a lot of the momentum, and I won't say power or control, but we have a lot of the momentum to make decisions because we're in a position to be able to choose accordingly. A lot of people have had children or started these families prematurely.
Use me as example.
Okay. they started.
I know he was gonna be
right. No, I got yeah. A lot of people have started like these families prematurely, and it's like I even talking to my boys like. There's a switch in women and men when they have children. It's like you're no longer doing it for you.
Right.
And I cannot relate to that.
Yeah, I can't.
I don't get it. So it's like that shift, and it's not.
Sound like DJ right now.
Like it's just bro, it's a real thing. Like
I'm
it's
the
real.
same way though.
And it's not me trying to get it, but it's like I can live, and that's why I'm so glad that I have the relationship that I have with you because it's like I see like the things that I'm capable of doing is like I got to find a babysitter or this and that. It's like. Wow, I'm just grateful that I have the option to be able to go ahead and move accordingly.
Yes.
So, and I learn from my friends, even if they're saying something to me or they're making a decision based on their circumstance.
Right.
So I get to learn from that. And it's just like, I just continue to ask myself, and I think a lot of people should ask themselves, what do you want?
Yeah.
What do I want? What do I want? Because
Right.
yes, we can have children, like, but do you want a house or you want a home?
Right,
You know
exactly.
what I'm saying? Do you want to go to the next state, or you want to be able to travel and see the world?
Exactly.
Like, what do you want? And I think we're in such a privileged position that we don't ask ourselves these questions enough. But I think the deeper question is like, are we going to God and incorporate him into our game plan?
Right.
It's just like, well, this is my 5-year game plan. This is my 10-year game plan. It's just like, if God came in here and crumbled up the whole thing,
it's nothing without God.
It's nothing. It's nothing.
You know?
Yeah, it's nothing.
Y'all have that ability to like. I'm not gonna lie. Like for a long time, when I like got pregnant, I was like, dang, like I will never be able to just say I'm going to get up and. Well, I will, of course, when she gets older. But and like even a lot of decisions you still have to make based around your kid, even if you made a dumb decision and you were older, like, and they were older, it still reflects them because in school people talk about your kids,
Right.
people talk about things. So it's like now I have a place where I have to make sure that whatever I do, if she sees it, she can follow. So I have to make sure I'm on my point, P's and Q's, and also not just that, like I can't just get up and say I'm gonna travel. I can't just say tomorrow I want to travel unless I have, like how he said, it's contingent upon something else, which means if I can probably go out of town, but now I have to make sure I got a sitter to do that.
Right.
And if that sitter cancels, then my out of town is canceled. So that also matters. Like even y'all following your dreams and how you say you want to travel, I feel like you should definitely travel. Like my advice to you is go view the world, go travel, go be your best self, go figure out who you are, go figure out what you want. Because when you have kids, it does slow you down. Like it definitely slows you down, and it is like something that can hold you back. I know he was making it sound bad, but it can hold you back in certain things until they get older or until you're comfortable with people watching them. Because for a long time, I wasn't comfortable.
Right, I know a lot of people like that.
You have to get to that place. So I feel like for y'all too, as men that are single and no kids, like I feel like everything executed, because a plan is nothing without execution either. So it's
that's
like
true.
everything you have, go execute it, go for it, push through, persevere, and don't look back, and be careful. Like he said, the decision making, be mindful and careful, because how I had a kid, I never planned on having kids. I'm sitting here just like how y'all was saying, I didn't plan on having kids either, and I made dumb decisions that got me that, but I'm blessed and highly favored that I do have the kid I have.
Right.
But it was definitely not planned.
I
Gotcha.
understand. This is it.
That's good.
I understand.
That's good. Let me ask y'all the question. When you think about being a creator, because it's like, I'm a content creator, I'm a this, like simply the affirmation, I am a creator. What is the first thing that comes to mind when you hear that affirmation?
When I'm a creator, shoot.
I am a creator. What comes to mind when you say I am a creator?
You go first.
You know what? That's a good question. I never really looked that deep into it. Cause I don't know. Like I say, I'm still trying to get used to this. Like, yeah, I make content, but I ain't never really looked that deep into it. I don't know. That's a good question. That's a good question. I have no idea.
I feel like for me, I am a creator. Like basically, for one, something that comes to mind is I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, which means that I'm the creator of masses. Like, I'm the creator of anything that I decide to put my mind to, I can create. That's what it gives me. And it gives me, like, you know how people say I'm a small creator. I don't say that. No, I am whatever it needs to stand. I am that. And I feel like that's what it gives me. And creation just means that, heck, recreating things and coming up with things that God gave me, because it only be one me. And so I feel like creator gives me, I'm made from the creator, and now he's made me a creator under him.
Yeah.
So that's really kind of what I feel when I hear I'm a creator, because when people say small businesses or small creator, I'm not a small.
Yeah, that was a good question.
Yeah, bro.
And that was a good response, because I never really looked that deep into it.
Yeah,
I just day by day with me.
So I have a question. Do you say affirmations to yourself, like in the mornings or midday, or
I love this
before
question.
you go to sleep or anything like? And if so, what are some affirmations that you're willing to share?
Okay, so that's a good question. So, like I said, with me still working a 9 to 5 and me being around other content creators who actually took that risk and believed in themselves and made that next step, you know, like, this is so funny because even this morning, like, today was my Monday at work or whatever, and Mondays always be the worst for me because, like, it's Monday, and then, like, I'm going into somewhere I really don't want to be, and like I said, like, I always see myself being bigger than that. Like, nothing's wrong with working a job, but where I see myself is not working a job for the rest of my life. Right. So what I do, literally, because I work at the airport, so I got to drive 35, 40 minutes from the air, you know, to and from the airport. So I literally every morning I always tell myself, like, I'm going to be great. I'm going to be great. I say that 10, 20 times. I always tell myself, I'm going to be great. I'm going to be great. When I get in my feelings, like around between 7 and 9 o'clock every day at work, I get in my feelings. I just tell myself, it's not going to be me. I'm going to be great. I'm bigger than this. You know, stuff like that. So I always try to keep myself motivated. Like I said, I be talking to myself a lot to try to keep myself from, you know, getting to that point, because this is where a lot of content creators have an issue with. And they always come to me like how I do it. You know, like just, you know, balancing out life and then still trying to also make content. And like I said, I've been consistent. That's where people mess up at, not being consistent. I've been consistent for 6 years. And I'm just now starting to see something financially from it.
Yeah.
So, you know, like that. So you gotta have a strong mind when it comes to that. And like I said, by me putting my faith in God when it comes to that and me believing in myself, that's what's keeping me going, you know?
Can I give you advice on your affirmations, if you mind? So, just a shift is, like you said, I'm going to be great. Say I am great.
Right, and that's where
speaking it to, like, it's already here.
Yeah.
And then also being at a job you don't like, when you say, God, like one thing I do say is, God, when I left the house, I'm thankful that you came with me and your angels followed. And also, like, God, be with me as I'm here and allow me to be able to serve however you want me to serve here, because I know that I'm not here long. So tell me what you need me to do while I'm here. And instead of saying, I don't like my job, or I don't want to be here, or Mondays is bad, say Mondays is great. Mondays will be amazing. I will operate amazing here. Start doing things outside the norm, like even like over expectations. And why I say that is when you start doing things, it's like God catapults you. When you start just following God and like walking with Him, because like right now, like the job I'm currently at, I don't like. But until I got into a space of where I'm like, like change this, change that, how you wake up, like, I show you having a great day. Everything's amazing. Everything's beautiful. Everything's wonderful. Like, God, what do you want me to do? Whatever your will is, let it be done in me today at this job. And it just helps your spirit to change so that you're not coming and you're like, I don't want to be here, bro. Because I was like that at first until I started telling myself that, because I know He's transitioning me. And just like He's about to transition you, it's just up to you when.
Right.
But God is transitioning you. So in that part of that transition is you have to shift everything. Everything has to shift. And everything that's not of God must go. So I just say, for you, just say, you know, I am great. I'm a huge content creator. However many views it is to you, to where it's a significant impact. Say my videos produce over this amount. And I learned that from a book called Think and Grow Rich. It's like putting the number on it. So not just saying like, oh, I'm going to go big. No. How big are you going to go in number? Because you do content, you put that number on it. And once you do there, all it is, those goals is something that will recreate. You'll do something else, but once you reach those goals, you know that you spoke it into existence.
Right.
And you're walking in your manifestation.
That's it. My content touches millions on a daily basis.
Amen.
I make tens and thousands of dollars on a daily basis.
Amen. And
Money
I
comes to me
receive it.
frequently.
And that's
easily.
and with you just speaking on that, it just seemed like, yeah, I need to be more in touch with God. Not saying I don't believe in God and I don't put faith in God, but I just feel like I don't, like I said, I feel like once I put faith in God for real, that's when I make that step and wanting to believe in myself and let that go and just really do what I need to do.
Yeah. You were saying something in reference to getting, you know, what do you feel like your faith is right now? Let me ask that question. Where do you feel like your faith is right now?
I have no idea.
That's fair. That's honest. That's honest.
I have no idea.
Yeah, no, I think that's good because a lot of people like moving the facade, and it's just like, oh, well, we know God is good, and I got to tell them that, you know, I believe in God and God is great, and like if you don't know, bro, like that, I think that's a beautiful thing and a beautiful place to be, because that's that transparency. I think one thing that I would urge you to do, not saying that you should, but a recommendation, is just be more intentional with the time that you're spending with God. Like, so we can pray day to day in our car, wherever we want to, but like when you're driving in the vehicle, is your vehicle a concert or is it a classroom? Like, are you worshiping? Are you turning on that music? Are you listening to the Bible? The Bible app, it can read to you. Right. So, like, even before you leave the crib, like, I'm going to spend 5 minutes in the closet on my knees just praying to God. I don't really know what to say, but I'm going to just kind of talk and just kind of see what it is and start working that muscle. Like, a lot of people talk about exercising their faith, but they don't know what that looks like.
Right.
And a lot of people don't know what to do or what questions to ask when it comes to exercising their faith. So it's just like, those are just some of the things that you can do. It's just like make and carve out time for God to speak to you and for you to speak to him. And I think that would be a great start.
And be quiet.
Yeah. Get into the word. If it's a scripture a day, like just make it not even the routine. I won't even say just the routine, but like make it the relationship to go ahead and be intentional with God on a day-to-day basis. Like God on speed dial. I'm going to text God as soon as I get up in the morning. Like, I'm going to speak to God as soon as I get up in the morning. Like, how if God is my best friend or my family, like, when I reach and roll over or when I get out to bed, like, this used to be, this is such a beautiful thing. This used to be how I moved. Before I got out of the bed, like, my knees hit the ground before my feet do. And I want to get back to that. I want to get back to that. I want to get back to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just such my phone, it wasn't like, none of it, it was like, I'm gonna spend this time with God first, and then go from there.
Yeah,
like, so I want to get back to that, but that's one thing I urge you to do is just like carve out time for God, and just see what comes out of that as a result. because the more time you do that, the longer the time will be. And we're not just putting a time frame on it, but like you'll start being more intentional about it, and then that reciprocal relationship with God will allow you to speak to him and then him to speak to you through other people, through signs, through different things that are going on in your lifestyle.
Make perfect sense.
Slow down, because I know like you work a job, so it's probably like how me working a job. Sometimes you get so, like, you know how like you may be running late, you're like, oh, I gotta, but it's like your day is troubled when you like just leave and say I don't have time, you know, and God has to be incorporated. I'd rather be 5 minutes late than not spend time with God, but I do fall short, you know. But doing that, because I already know how it is with a job. You're rushing, you're going fast. Sometimes you wake up too late. Sometimes you try to rush to get there. But like carving out that time will help him to even allow you to wake up, be your own alarm clock, and start helping you to navigate like going to that job until he give you something else.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's what I've been working on learning, that because that has been, since I've been working a normal job, that has been something that has been a little harder. I always use God throughout the day, praying and all that, and listening to sermons and stuff. That's just kind of my day to day. But I want it to be as soon as I don't even want, for me, in the car. I don't even want it to start in the car. I wanted to start at the house, because I feel like a lot of things happen when you leave that house. You stub your feet, you be mad, you know. You do a lot of stuff when you move fast, you know. And so just kind of practicing that could probably help you too. Because I know how it is with these 9 to 5.
Yeah, my business didn't turn up until I started like getting in solitude with God. When you talk about that one-on-one time, like, my business ain't started going until like I really gave it to God.
Right.
And it wasn't perfect, bro, but it was a process.
Yeah, definitely.
It was a process.
You gave it to God, man.
For sure. Hey, oh, go ahead.
So, do you
We back
have a
on?
question?
No, we still live. We good.
Oh, I know we're rolling.
Yeah, we rolling.
Okay, so I got a question for you. You know, with you, being your own boss, and I guess, would you consider yourself an entrepreneur?
Absolutely.
Okay, with you being, and taking that step, what was the step that you took, or how did you feel taking that step and knowing like, damn, I let this job go, now I got to take this full blown serious? Or what kept you up still, like, just motivated throughout the time?
Back in college, I had just graduated from college, and I think this is like, if I feel like I'm dating myself, like I was like, this is when Netflix was like just getting popping. Like I think Redbox was competing at the time. You know? And I was working at this call center for Netflix, and I was working there like 6 days a week, and it was like 3 to like midnight, and that was my whole day. And I'm like, I had found my calling, which was media and everything like that, and I'm just like, well, this was what it was paying the bills, and this and the third. And I had an opportunity. Somebody hit me up. It's like, hey, I'm heading out here to New York for All-Star Weekend, and I need a videographer. Like, you available to come and pay for your stay, your, whatever your price is, and wherever you staying. I was like, yeah, but I got a job.
I
got a job. I got to like report. So I came up with this elaborate, detailed story about how my mom is sick, and like I just gotta go, and I'll be back, and I'll let y'all know. And I'll tell you the back end story about that, because our words are so powerful. But I went out there and I took the leap of faith. I prayed about it, but I took that leap of faith, and I went out there and I made $1,000 for the weekend.
That was up.
And I was like, if I can make $1,000 with doing what I love to do, like, I got to take this mindset back. And I was in Michigan at the time. I got to take this back and like go with that. And it was one of those things where, all right, once you see it working in one place, because God is all over it, it can work any place.
Anywhere,
You know what I'm saying? Like, but it took God to get me out of my comfort zone, which is that 6 days a week, giving it to that job every single day, thinking I want to be a part of Netflix, I want to be a part of these Netflix series and this and the third, filmmaking and working for them. But it's just like, well, you can make more money doing what you like to do, filming what you like to do on your own time, and like you can charge your own price. But it took God removing me from my comfort.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, when you was in that whole midst of like trying to figure out, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna tell my job? Like, what made God, like, that's when God was like, okay, you need to make a decision if you want to
I think so, and I think that was the biggest thing is because I was sleeping on it. And I was like, what should I do? What should I do? I was talking to my mom about it as well, and she was just like, tell him you're gonna be sick. And I was like, I don't want to tell him I'm gonna be sick, because I was like big on words. I was getting into affirmations
that's how I
at
am
the time. And she was like, tell them that I'm gonna be sick and your mom's gonna be sick. So lo and behold, the amazing part about that is like a few years later, my mom actually did get sick, and she had kidney failure. And it's just like, we got to be careful of our words.
with our words.
I'm not saying that was the reason,
Yeah.
but it's just like our words are powerful.
Definitely.
So, and life and death is spoken in the power of the tongue.
Yeah.
So we just have to be careful.
Right.
I started, as a result of that, it's just like, I started speaking affirmations as a result of me when I got back. It's just like, man, I can make money daily with my camera.
Right.
I want to see the world. I will see the world traveling with my camera. And then my prayers became different. It's like, Lord, allow me to make money with the camera and the talents that I have.
Right.
Present me with the opportunity. So it's just like I started speaking these things as a result of when I got back because I was turned up.
Yeah,
like I'm like Instagram was lit and everything. So everybody was asking all these questions. So as a result of me telling them what happened, like I literally, and I was praying to God over the course of that time, but as a result of that, I was actually speaking myself into where I wanted to be. And it was the result of the quiet time that I had with God. Because I'm like, God, what am I going to do? Like, this is what I want to do. I know what I want to do. I want to use this camera. I don't want to be behind this desk 9 to 5.
Right, yeah.
So it's just like, continue to present me with the opportunities. And this goes back to where I talked about with discipline. I had to make a decision where like, all right, now you know that it's possible to do this.
Right.
It's gonna take some time, but like you're capable of it. So are you gonna walk out on faith, trust me to provide, rather than the comfort of your job being a 9 to 5?
Exactly.
I'm
trying to tell you, I be going back and forth.
And let me piggyback off of that. It's just like, be careful of doing a you thing and a God thing. I left my job too soon to pursue what I was doing, and I had struggles paying the bills.
See, that's what I'm saying. How do I know if
you gotta waiting is an action word.
Waiting on God.
Waiting on God is an action word, because you can pray to God and like, Lord, what should I do? Boom, 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 and that's that and third. And because our antsiness and our anxiousness, like we want to make a decision and this that, and the third, and it's a me, I want to do this, and it's just like, well, has God provided you a sign, or like you need to go ahead and do
I definitely feel like I ain't had that sign, but like I said, when it comes, like you saying, with manifestation, you know, that word. But it's crazy because, like I said, like when I was going back to my homie, like the dude, that boy funny, when it came to me watching him on social media, and like I said, me and my homies used to watch his videos all the time, and I always tell him, I'm like, I'm gonna do a video with him. I'm gonna meet him one day. And it's so funny. All these content creators that I done manifested I was gonna be around, I done been around, and it'd be so crazy because I be looking up to them, but long story, when I meet them, it be a different energy. Like pretty much the same thing. Like they're like, "Oh, you doing your thing, this, that, and the other." But I don't ever expect anything. So I don't know. I guess that can be another reason why I don't know. I just didn't see this coming, so I don't know if this is my calling. Like I guess that's what it is. I don't know.
My mentor, I'm gonna tell you something. My mentor said. My mentor said, whatever you are doing, it needs to produce more than what you are getting made by 2 to 3 times. And the reason, or unless God has called you to do so, because it's the thing, when God calls you to do something, it's a tug on you. Like, you gonna know. It's now, people, we do ignore signs when God gives it to us too, but you gonna know. He gonna keep tugging on you. You gonna know that. But also, like, if you feel like, okay, let me make sure I'm doing what God is doing, so you make sure that with your stuff, it's like, okay, if I'm doing the numbers, is this producing enough for me to say I can walk away from my job right now? If God did not tell me, if I didn't hear from God, at least have a plan. God's gonna always come in and redirect your plan, but have a plan. If you aren't hearing from God right now, are you making 2 to 3 times more than what you make, so that if you don't have a busy week, if you don't have a busy month, can you still produce enough to take care of yourself? And that is before you completely, because sometimes we can say hear from God, but you're supposed to hear from God in general, but everybody doesn't know how he sounds because they're not at one, like they're not having that, like how she said, that time with him. And so sometimes you don't even know what he sound like. So in that midst of while you're learning and you're curating that relationship with God, you can make sure you have a plan mapped out, because plans are always still important, even though we know God gonna come jumble them up like that. But
Right.
still, like, with having that plan, like, if you can't say that if I leave today, I will be taken care of. And for me, I have to look at things like that because I have a kid.
Right.
But with you, you're by yourself. But also, if you have that mentality, it'll help you get further. Like he said, he left too soon. It was more of a him thing than a God thing.
Right. Right.
And so if you do operate off of doing something for yourself, make it structured so that even if it is a you thing until it's a God thing, you made a smart move.
Right,
not a
right.
move off of emotions,
Off
because
emotions.
emotions aren't always facts.
Yeah,
Right.
I wish someone would have told me to utilize my job to invest in my entrepreneurship.
Right. Yeah.
I wish I would have said, like, because I came off the momentum of motivation coming out of New York.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm lit. I made a band. I'm good. I don't need this job.
Right,
Like,
right,
God
right.
got me. You know?
Yeah. No. I understand.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, okay, well, now that you've done that, now go and duplicate that. Can you do this again next weekend? How much do you need to make a month? How much are you making at the job? Like, I wish somebody gave me the game plan
Right.
about, okay, well, my job is supporting me in this way. I would like my entrepreneurship journey to support me this way. And then in the midst of all of that, like, where do you allow God to provide?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
So-
get rid of that. Well, I wouldn't say get rid of, because I don't want to tell you to do anything. But advice to you is the fear. Like, bet on yourself. Like, literally bet on. Like, act like you're the only person in that room and it's nothing greater. And the reason why I say that is you still utilize the resources of people who you know can help you along the way, who's further. But when I say that, it's because you're looking at yourself in that image so that you have the confidence to not feel like you can't do it, like, or the fear of what if. Just like what does it say, walk by faith, not by sight. It's because you're not going to be able to see. We don't see God and we still trust him. Like, we're not seeing him every second, like, yeah, that's God, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, trust in your vision, trust in yourself, and trust in what you're creating. And when you leave, don't leave off emotions, but also don't stay because you're scared of the what ifs. Because the what ifs will cost you your dreams.
Yeah.
If this can happen, this didn't happen yet. You know what I'm saying? Because if you go down a spiral of thinking this could be bad, this could be bad, this could be, what if it's not?
Yeah.
What if it's amazing? What if it's catapulting in abundance?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Start saying, what if it's great, so you can get yourself in a mindset of something beautiful, so that when you do start hearing from God, you make you make the decisions that he led you to do. And
That's good.
let that fear go out the window. Like, you know what I'm saying? And this coming from me knowing you, like, you are amazing. You're great. I watch you. And I'm not just saying this because we're friends. I watch you and I'm inspired because, of course, I want to go upcoming content creator. I'm inspired and I love your tenacity. I love how much effort you put in it. And even with you working a job, utilizing your job for your dreams is amazing. Like, and I just want to tell you, like, give you your flowers. Like, you're doing an amazing job, because
I appreciate
a lot of
that.
people can't even stand in your shoes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just being honest, like, and even my co-host Kev, like, he betted on himself, but he betted on me because he did this podcast based off a dream I had. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And even with him, like, you can't even link with him unless you're on his calendar. Like, and I feel like that's amazing discipline.
Yeah.
And it's like, and he always makes sure he is, like, connected to God. And that's the one thing, like, you're never going. Now, yes, we fall short, and that's where we help each other. But God is always in his picture. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, even giving you your flowers, I'm so proud. Like, everything you say you're gonna do, I've never seen you not do anything you said you weren't gonna do. Now, you may have said, like, oh, I'll have to postpone, but I feel like even when you postpone, you get to it. So I feel like that's still keeping your word. So I feel like even that, and even how far you have came in your business and what you're creating and what you're doing, I feel like it's amazing, and you can teach so many people how to do that. And just being who you are is enough. Like, who you are is enough. And same for you. Who you are is enough. Like, it's nothing else you need. God already gave you everything that you may be questioning. God gave it to you. You already got it. So just utilize that even in your videos, and whoever don't want to do it, forget that.
Right.
Like whoever you feel like, because I know you've met people who you felt like you looked up to, and they probably aren't the person you look up to anymore, you know? So, but in that whole journey, allow it to mold you into a better person. Don't let it deter you from where you're going, and don't let it change, like how you said earlier, you don't let it change you, and continue to not let it change you.
That's one thing about it, though. That's one thing. I'm sorry for cutting you off.
No, you
okay, but that's one thing about it. Like, no matter what I've been through, like I said, I done met people that did me dirty. It still doesn't affect me because, like I said, I made myself do this. Like nobody, it ain't. I can't go to my friend like, oh, can we do these videos so I can? None of that. I motivate myself.
Right.
So when it comes to this, can't nobody. That's one another thing too. Like I said, I don't care to do videos and content with other people. I know to get to the next level, I am going to have to, talk to people and try to get more knowledge on where I'm going. Because like I said, I'm running to that same situation where I'm just giving out money to the wrong people, thinking these people are genuinely trying to help me.
Right.
But like I said, when it comes to the whole content thing, can't nobody stop me from wanting to do this. Only me, like nobody.
Exactly.
So it's like. Yeah.
I mean, we will suffer persecution. So So those things that are happening when you're meeting those people, like God is walking you through that. Like it's one thing if you don't have God, then you going through the storm by yourself is a disaster.
Right.
But when you're going through the storm with God, it's God is your navigation system. So He's getting you to wherever you need to go. So sometimes you need to encounter those bad things so you can know how you shouldn't be.
Right.
Because sometimes we don't know before we get that thing. So sometimes we can say, oh, I wouldn't do that when I get $100,000. But then you get the $100,000 and you feel different. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, prepare yourself God is preparing you to be who He has called you to be through the obstacles and the challenges you may go through. So I'm not going to say, hey, do content with people, but I think that collaboration, even biblically, is actually a great thing.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
when you collab with people, just ask God. That's why that time in the closet is important, because God does show you the snakes in the grass. But sometimes sometimes He makes you hit your head because He needs you to see that. Sometimes it's something that you need to go through to get to where you need to go. So God is still with you, but He showed you something. And also your story, the deeper your story, the greater your blessings. So when God starts building that story up and you like, dang, I had to hit this, I had to hit this, I had to hit that, then you know that them blessings finna roll in on, tenfold. So
I can definitely say that, that now, because it's like, I don't know, like I said, just growing up with my grandpa or whatever, and then seeing my sisters, like, they always tell me they're proud of me. They look at me like the chosen one, if that make any sense. But it's like, y'all, I be chilling. Like, that's what's pissing me off, though, about myself, though. Like I said, like you said earlier, I need to start saying I'm great already versus I am. Like, I just really got to have that confidence behind myself. But it's like, I don't know when. Like I said, I want to take that step, but I don't want to take it off, like, like I said, I don't want to, like you said, like, you rushed it. Like I said, like, I am making the money more than I'm making at the job, but it's just like at the same time, you might have months that it don't be this, or you might have months, like I said, I was getting paid and then I stopped getting paid for a whole year. So it's like, I don't want to just run into, I know a little bit more on, like, trying to be careful, but it's like, I just don't want to get in that situation. Like, you saying, like, if you keep saying what if, you'll never know, like stuff like that. But that's what be messing me up. What if I don't have that strong month? What if it go this way? What if? And then what
it will all come full circle.
Yeah, and that's what I have to understand, because it has so far. Like I said, like, everything that's coming to me, I feel like it wouldn't come to me if I didn't have somewhat faith in God and, just believe in myself.
You are great, and you just have to believe. I could sit here and tell you how great you are, but you have to deep down inside believe that you're capable of anything and that you're great, because if you're not betting on yourself, then who is? Because you show people how to deal with you by how you deal with you. And even like, I'm just chilling, I don't think you should say that. Me personally, as advice, I don't think you should say that, because no, you're doing what you're called. The thing is, anything that feels like it's something that you can just do in your sleep, it's a gift. Like, God brings gifts. Like, if you can just do it with your eyes closed, like, it's a gift that God gave you. So no, you're not chilling. You're doing what God gave you.
Yeah, and it's effortless.
And when people compliment you, take it.
Yeah.
It's
And I gotta start doing that.
Work on your receiving.
And I have to work on that
receiving.
too. And I just be like, what do y'all be seeing, like, in me that I don't see in myself? Like,
Greatness.
I know, and that's what I'm having a hard time.
Bro,
like,
I think,
like, believing, like.
what are you doing in that solitude time? When you say you like time to yourself, it's like, what questions are you asking yourself? What conversations are you having with God that you get into the nitty gritty of like, who am I?
I still don't know. Like, yeah, like
That's what I'm saying. What are the conversations are you having in private? You know what I'm saying?
yeah, like I said, like it be just pretty much me, praying that he keep my head right. 'Cause like I said, like it do be a lot. Like I got a lot going on, and I just be praying that my mind stay right, and I don't sit up here and get to the point where I just get depressed and I just get stagnant. And then like I said, because it happens to a lot of us, like we just get stagnant and we just lose it. So I just try to pray and thank God for keeping my mind and keeping me level headed. But that's just pretty much like I said, and with the whole just me being great. And me just trusting myself. That's the only thing I be talking to them about. Like, what is it that other people see in me that I don't see in myself?
Do you write down like your plans, your goals?
I don't do none of that.
Because if you write a vision and make it plain.
Yep.
So when you write it out, something about that written word that just it like pops out at you, so it makes it more believable. Like when I start believing that I was an entrepreneur, it's nothing nobody could tell me. I don't care if I worked a job where I was getting paid $10. I am an entrepreneur. You can't tell me nothing different. It might look like delusion to you, but it's God working in me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, write those things down so you can see it and you can visualize it. And even getting into one, if you get into one and you meditate, one thing I used to do was I would meditate, and it's harder than it looks, but meditating for like 15 minutes, and I would speak things over my life. Like I would just say like, then I would go into a phase where I envisioned how I see myself. And when I realized my visions wasn't like what God, I knew that was too little for what God had for me. So it started to increase over time. It wasn't I'm not perfect, and it didn't get to the way where it was more increased, but it's like, dang, like God, like you think I can only do that? That's why I'm giving you these little bits and pieces, because you only think I can do this.
Yeah, stop putting limits on God.
When God can do whatever it is, as long as it follows his will. So if God gave it to you, you gotta work. You got to do what, if he gave it to you, it's because he know what you can do with it. And he's going to catapult you. It's just that now that he gave it to you, now it's like looking at the man in the mirror. What are you going to do to make sure that you stay? And even like, saying, God, keep me here. Like, just ask for increase. Ask God to allow you to execute your plans. You know what I'm saying? And also what I've learned is that God increased me in praying for others, allow God to increase me. Like when I would literally just get in a prayer room and I wouldn't even pray over myself. I would pray over everybody around me and everyone to be increased in their blessings and the things that God has tugged on my heart for other people. And God, that's you serving, and God catapults you in that too. So, because it's not always about you. Sometimes God wants you to be focused on something else he's having you to do within somebody else, because it's gonna bring up who he had in you. But if you don't, let's say like Kev, if God is telling me, hey, go be a part of his production and do something with his production, I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. It's about me. Then I miss the blessing or what God had for me, because he told me to do an assignment. And with that assignment, I do that. And then I bring up, just like we were talking about earlier, some people don't want to do things for free. Everything don't come with a ticket. Because when God bless you, you're going to be looking like, dang, this way more than what I thought. So just make sure that you bet on yourself, you get around the right people, because I'm not going to lie. Your ear gates, your eye gates, what you see, what you hear is important. And like we said, the people around you, I don't know what people say, but they have a big impact on you. So it's like, if you are around people who don't believe in themselves, I get it. You love people. You come from the same hood. I love them. They was here. But everybody can't come with you.
Right.
And because everybody can't come with you, he even said this, like day twos and day ones, those are different. The day twos are the ones who are seeing your growth and coming with you through the growth process. The day ones are the ones who started with you from the bottom. But sometimes them day ones got to stay
at the bottom.
Because you will miss your blessings trying to bring a committee with you to who God has called you to be.
Right.
That's good.
So
that's good.
I
give you.
You be talking yo. All right, like you be talking yo. This is your interview. This is like, jeez. But that's facts, and like I said, when it goes back to like me believing in myself, I got a homegirl at work. like I said, every light believes in me. It'd be really just me. And I got a homegirl who sees me every day at work. She's like my rich ass friend. And every time she say that, I still be like, why is she saying that? I'm not. Like, you know, and I got to stop doing that too. Like, I really don't know why I do not believe. Yeah, I want to be happy about that. Because she see it. Like, she knows that, you know, everything's going to work out for me. It's just me. So, but like, what I need to do, I do need to talk to God more. I do. Because I think I'm asking for the wrong things. I'm not saying necessarily asking for the wrong things, but I'm not asking for enough, if that makes any sense. Yeah.
That's good. That make a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Most definitely.
God right here, bro.
Right.
God right here. So just keep talking to yourself. That's why those affirmations, you just affirming what is already in you. That's it. That's all.
You just need to pull it out.
That's it.
Right.
That's it. And, so, and
When
the more you speak it.
If you could do it in your sleep, and I'd be like, man, I can do this in my sleep.
Bruh.
That mean it's for
That's
me.
what we see. We see the fact of how authentic. I'm not gonna lie. I look at your videos and be like, how the heck did you think of that?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I really
But it
be.
but it be like stuff that did happen and it's funny, but I would have never in life
Right.
thought of it. And that's how you know God called you.
Yep.
Because I be like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
gotta
my
see his
mind.
videos.
Yeah, you gotta. I gotta follow you too,
All right,
man.
That's a bet.
I be doing that, man. I be doing it, man. I love doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I just want to say, do you have, as our guest, because I want to give the floor to you, do you have any closing things that you want to say to, for one, I want you to say something that you would say to your younger self. And also, do you have any advice for content creators that are just starting or figuring out how to curate content?
All right.
Yeah, you think about it.
You can think.
You got time.
Well, y'all done opened a whole nother. I ain't never sat up here and just really thought about some of the questions. Like I done been on a couple podcasts, and you know, it done been about, you know, what I do, but I ain't never like really just got, you know, deep into it, or just like how God has affected me through this whole journey. I never got that deep into it. That's crazy, and I just be sitting here thinking like, dang. Yeah. With that question, I still can't get past that shit. Like, as a creator, like, who do I see myself as a creator? And I don't even know.
Yeah, bro.
And I don't even know if that's
yourself.
a bad or good. I don't.
No, it's
I don't know.
It's
Like,
a part of the process.
yeah. Like, even seeing myself, like I said, I know we didn't really get to the question about like where I see myself, but it's like I can see myself, you know, eventually like taking it and being like I don't mind doing like small commercials or like little movies, but yeah, eventually I want to go big, like big. But I'm still trying to debate if I want to go big for it on that side, or do I want to do music, because that too. And my dad, he doesn't really understand like how big I am as far as like, you know, outside the house.
Bruh.
You know, my dad still looks at me as like, why you not singing, bro?
Everything
you got a voice.
everything you do is big. Everything you touch is big. Everything that you speak to is big. Anything that has anything to do with you is big.
Right.
So we can't say that little, or, you know, this, or I'm gonna do small, like your name.
Right.
Anything in association to your name, anything that you touch is big, bro.
Right.
Exactly.
Period. Point blank
Any
is
mountain
big.
can be moved out your way.
Yeah, bro. Like,
Any mountain.
honestly, it's just time to stop playing small.
Right, and that's what I'm doing. I'm definitely playing small.
Make your dad see who you are outside.
Right.
It's not to prove nothing to nobody,
No,
bro.
but
You are who you are, bro. You big time.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not like he doesn't like I said, like, because growing up, like, singing. And that's another thing, too. Like, I want to, like, I know my dad up to that age now, but my dad still want to, like, sing. Like, he just made a song and dropped and everything. And, like, this kind of got me in my feelings, too. One morning I was going to work, and my dad, like, he was in the car listening to a song. You know, he drunk, too. And I'm just like, damn, like, and the song is called I Miss My Calling. Because my dad just felt like, damn, like, he wish he had the same tools and wish he had somebody, like, you know, to really help him with growing up versus how it is today. So stuff like that. So it's like, I want to be able to, like, that's another thing too, like before my dad died, I do want to like do music, and I do want him to see that side, and I do want to do what I can to help him get, you know, because I always tell him, like, you didn't miss your calling. You still have time. As long as you wake up every day and it's not, you didn't miss your calling. He just feel like he just missed life, like due to, you know, how everything is now. So it's like, but that is one thing I want to do for my dad though before he died. Like, I just want him to see me branch out and just me get comfortable with, you know, just being in front of people. Like when I went to Houston, I went, like, the dude booked me and everything. Like, he paid for everything. He just wanted me to come. I'm on stage, right? And I was supposed to do, like, on the comedy side. I never did stand-up comedy. And everybody always asks me, why don't you do stand-up? And it's just like, I'm not comfortable with being in front of thousands of people. Like, I'm not yet comfortable with that. Like, you know, so it's so funny because I kind of went up there. The dude kept, you know, the dude that booked me, he's a photographer too. Like it's crazy because he be on the same thing as you and everything. But he kept pushing me to go up there. He like, even if you do karaoke. So, you know, I started singing a little bit and I started opening up and everybody was fucking with that. But I'm like, is this like, I don't know. They was like, which one you want to do? Do you want to do the music side or you want to be a comedian? And I'm kind of mad because as soon as I left Houston, I'm like, damn, I really could have got on that stage and pretty much being funny too. You know, like I could have did versus singing. I really didn't want to sing, but I didn't want to get up there. I'm down from Houston. Like I'm in Atlanta. I mean, I'm from Atlanta and I'm in Houston in a whole nother state. So he wanted me to get up there to at least introduce myself to the people that was in the little venue. But it's like, I was trying to tell him like, I'm still not comfortable. But once I got up there and I started opening up a little bit and started like singing a little bit, then I started getting comfortable. But I wanted to be more on the comedian side.
God birthed diamonds in uncomfortability.
That trip to Houston, bro, that was different. That was different.
New
I ain't
York
gonna
was
lie.
different for me. That New York trip, that was different.
That was different. I'm like, man, but yeah, I
You just
definitely.
gotta do it because God is not. It's not gonna always be comfortable. A lot of times it's uncomfortable. Like, cause anytime, like even the thought of me doing a podcast, I'm like, will people even listen to me? Do I even have a voice? Like, is anything I'm gonna even say important to people? And it's like, if you only think about that, you ain't gonna be able to see what God has for you, so you can bear the fruits of your labor. So it's like, I may be uncomfortable and do it. When I first did it, wasn't I nervous? First, I'm never nervous no more. But like that first time,
That's how I was.
I was so nervous. I was like, "Hold on, we gotta stop."
That's how I was. Like,
and especially seeing yourself and in front of, like, I did poetry in front of a lot of people at my college. When I tell you I was shaking,
I already know. Listen.
But I executed when I got out of my head and out of my own way. I executed and I had a standing ovation there. And that's, you know, now I have a poetry book. But it's like, if I didn't bet on myself, I would never have been able to see any of that. So I just say to you, like, do it.
Bet on you big time.
Do it when you're uncomfortable.
And it's funny that you say that because the dude that, you know, scammed everybody out that money or whatever, like I said, he I don't got no issue with him or whatever like that. Like, I let shit go, even though it was wrong or whatever like that. But long story short, it's so funny that you said something about like being uncomfortable. He said that he loved being more uncomfortable than being comfortable because once he get comfortable, then he gets stagnant and then
now it don't feel like you growing.
Yeah, it don't feel like you're growing. That's exactly what he said. So he said by him always being uncomfortable, it's always better for him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bro.
So
You're a creator, bro.
I know, but
you're a creator.
Yeah, once I taught, but it's like, man, y'all got me thinking about so much. Like this whole car ride home and everything, I'm finna be in my like, damn, I need to get closer to God. That's
all we hate.
And like I said, my homegirl, she remind me, Jada, she remind me so much of you because like I said, she'll sit up here and do the same thing you doing and stuff like that and be like, you just have to put faith in God. Cause like I said, everything that she doesn't work her job and everything like that. And this is one thing that I can't say, like, she ended up getting evicted or whatever like that. Didn't know where she was going to go. Prayed about it the whole week. Boom. Found a house, moved in and everything like that. But if she wouldn't have prayed and put her faith in God, you know how hard it is to try to find a house within that amount of time? It's hard. And if she was like, if she didn't, like, because at first, you know, she had her moments, you know, where she broke down.
Yeah.
But like I said,
Been there.
you know, as time went by, she just kept praying every night, you know, taking 10, 15 minutes to you know, pray to God and this and that and the other. And boom, she in the house now.
Yeah, God.
And she always tried to make me think the same way. Like, she don't know how she going to pay her bills every month, but she put her faith in, it's going to get done because she got her faith in God, and he always come through. And that's how I need to start looking at life, too. Like,
I'm proud of her.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm telling you, remind me so much of her. She do this every time with me, because anytime I be like, man, I didn't even want to do this full time. She's like, you need to travel. You need to do this. You need to get your passport. You need to do this. She be on my ass.
Yeah.
But I need that, you know, like that, because a lot of females that I be dealing with, I'm not saying I'm dealing with her.
Yeah.
A lot of females I be around, it don't be, you know, genuine. They only see what I bring to the table, and then they see I'm such a good person and a sweetheart, and they take advantage of it, you know? So it's like Jada actually being genuine, actually like seeing better, like always talking about, you that nigga. She be on my ass about that anytime, but you remind me about her. But like I said, long story short, faith in God. That's what I need to focus on. With my faith in God. I know I keep going back to
All
it,
we
but
want to do is do that.
yeah, I got to.
You know what I'm saying?
That's our plan, is to bring people closer to God as much as we can. We have faults. We're not perfect. Sometimes we fall short of His glory.
Facts.
Right.
But one thing me and him both come together as is our eyes are on God.
Right.
And we want to bring as many people to God as we can. and however we gotta do it, we're gonna do it. And with that being said, do you have anything that you want to give advice to anybody that's watching?
I didn't even get my advice, but go ahead.
You want to go ahead first?
Okay, well, I can, like I said, pretty much tell everybody, it's pretty much the main thing, like, yeah, putting your faith in God and just really being consistent. Like I said, when I said at the beginning, a lot of people do not understand that if you be consistent and you invest in yourself, that will get you so much further. Like, I done invested so much into my platforms. I didn't even care if it was this or I didn't this, that, and the other. I always invested in myself or whatever like that. And how I tell all the content creators who ask me how I do it, invest in yourself. You got to spend that money to, to make something, this, that, and the other. So I just pretty much tell, people, to just stay consistent in. That's pretty much it, but yeah.
Same thing. I would say stay faith fueled. Continue to like let God lead.
Right.
And like, not even if you're willing, but like be willing to surrender your success to God.
Facts.
Like,
Facts. That's good.
Like it's none of this is possible without God.
Yes.
None of this is doable without God. This is all fueled by, sponsored by, Big G. I'm Lil G. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, just give it to God. Surrender your success to God. Because what we deem as success, like money is the least in the kingdom.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like I'm already a multi-billionaire in the relationships that I have.
Right.
You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? The impact that I have anytime I walk into a room or I speak to someone and they really know, oh, you got that light, or you got like that's God. Like
right,
God
exactly.
body walking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm already filthy, stinking rich in that regard, bro. Like, and I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So like, when you find someone like that, because you can be blessed by the relationships that you have, but always stay connected to the source. Like I know that that's my biggest thing, and it's just like continue to do it, be consistent, continue to seek God's face. I know when I come up against like sinful ways or natures and like I fall short, like sometimes I want to run away from God, or God is gonna like convict me of this and I feel bad, and it's just like, no, that's when you should step into his presence. So that's when you should seek him more.
Like I said, with you being your own boss, on the days that you feel like, dang, it ain't gonna be like last month, how do you deal with that? How do you cope with that?
I used to play sports and I used to play defensive back, and anytime I would get scored on, this in college, collegiate football, anytime I get scored on, like I have to go back out on the field. They told me you got to have a short-term memory.
Right,
like,
yeah, you definitely got to have a short-term memory.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
So it's just like you got to still get out there and play the game. You got to still get out there and play your role.
Right.
You got to still get out there and be a defender or be an offender and go ahead and score. So whatever the case may be, have short-term memory about the things that don't serve you anymore, because you got to go ahead and move on to the next play, and the next play is going to allow you to either score or the next play is going to leave you with your head down and you'll be in the same position that you were stuck in.
So you're not even in February no more, huh?
Nope.
Good. Okay.
Nope.
I got you.
Nope.
Yeah. That was amazing.
Shit, that was God dang, man.
Yeah.
The advice that I have to give is bet on yourself. And when I say bet on yourself, I mean go all in on you.
Yeah.
And not even just that, be kind and be graceful, because you never know how your impact can change somebody's life. You never know one thing you say, how it can shift somebody. So walk in the light of God and make sure that when you walk into the room, people see the God in you before they see who you are in the flesh. And allow that light to shine through you, and whatever it is that you feel like you want to do, or that you have the thought of doing it, just do it. That's all it is, to do it. It's no looking back. It's no turning back. And the past is the past. And at last we are here.
Right.
And the present is the present. And the future will come. Don't bank on any of that. Just make sure that God is who you go to in any time of need, any time of happiness, greatness, sadness. Wherever you're at in life, make sure that God is who you go to. And thank you so much, so much.
Appreciate you.
No, appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all.
We are glad, blessed, and to even just have you in our presence and to just know who you are going to become, who you've already became.
Yeah.
To know who you are is amazing, And I'm just happy that we got to have you on this couch with us.
Right,
you
right,
know?
yeah.
And
I'm
I
always
just
look
wanna
back at
say
this.
you are wonderful. You are amazing. And anything that you feel like you can do, you can do. Yeah. And whatever you feel like you can't do, you still can do.
right.
And I'm going to close this out, you guys. I want to just say thank you guys so much for watching. We love
Thank y'all so
much. You already know what time it is. You already know who I am. It's Shelly with Go and Grow Podcast. And
Cutting Kev, you already know.
you know, Rick so slow.
You already know what time it is.
Bye.
Peace.
Yes.
Woo!